No, actually don't wake him. I'm pretty sure Irule is European. Um, and I am like super confident he's like 15 or something. Um, I'm pretty sure. He's like 15 or 16 or something. So probably waking him, it's probably not a good idea. If he is European, in my head he's European. I'm not sure if that's true. The only other, it's 11. Yeah, it's 11:30. Yeah, that's right. He's 16 now. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. That's from what I knew, that's about right. So yeah, it's only 10:30 for me here. I think it's that's 11:30 for Jailer. It's 10:30 for Crichton. And 10:30 for Russ. And I'm not sure who else is watching the stream. I think that might be everyone. I can check. No, I can't. Concentrate on the run. Don't check Twitch. There we go. We got a second time. I'm relatively.
Despite his fear,
relatively happy with that. It's like plus 18 seconds. Unfortunately, that first split is just super unforgiving. Because you have to hit that that wall jump glitch, and if you miss it, then you have to wait for your I call it the mana bar. It's not true, charge bar or whatever it is. So you can do your power slam to come back up. Yeah, 11:30 for you guys. And we're off. Alright. So this level's pretty straightforward. Actually, most of these early levels I do find very easy. Combination of factors. The first one is the routes really haven't ever changed. This first level here, the route changed slightly. You originally had to do a wall jump glitch, like on a really remote part of the map, and then kind of walk right around the outside. There's a better route for it now, which is that one. And then the next two levels, I don't think the routes ever changed. Pretty much from when people first started speedrunning this game, those routes have not changed. There's just no reason to. When you can like warp clip out of the map, the only reason you change the route is to get to the warp clip, the warp zone, the wrong warp faster. Wrong warp? I guess it's not a wrong warp. It's beta warp or draft. I don't know. Testing warp, testing end zone. Not sure. Whatever you want to call it. Like, unless you can find a way to get to those sections faster, there's absolutely no point in changing the routes. Because, you know, they're just never going to get faster. This level's actually quite long. Both these levels are actually very long. This is actually quite a long game, if played casually. I'm pretty sure there's an all quests route that Irule does, which I think his PB is like an hour 45, maybe, which is seems really fast to me. For an all quests route, but then he is very good at this game. I also don't know how many glitches he actually uses in that route. I've never watched it, so. But yeah, casually this game I think can take a long time if you don't know anything about it. Yeah, and as mentioned, it's really unforgiving if you mess something up. Even like non-speedrun, like even casual play, if you mess something up, it's unforgiving as hell. We did really well there. I don't want to say anything, but we got there first time, so that was nice. There's only the save warp in the game as far as I know, the rest is just hitting end zone triggers. Yeah, they're not actually correct end zone triggers though. Unless the game does some really funky stuff where you end a cutscene and then it warps you, which by all accounts is not true. Then they're like beta warps. They're like, you know, there are things put in by the developers to help them test, and maybe to skip levels when they were testing like the game as a full run, a game as a full playthrough. So like for this level, for example, the level actually ends right inside of the mountain. Crap. So like having the warp outside means like I don't think you ever warped there to end the game. My feeling was that it was like an additional warp to the actual warp that exists. The only one that I would say is an actual end zone trigger is the Flies and Spiders one, because you actually do get right to the end of the game, like level, before you find it. But wow, that was weird. Even then, I'm not so sure that's true either. Save warp. Yeah, there's only one save warp in the game. I can't think of a single other spot where save warping is useful. And like, we only use it to survive the full damage as well. It's the only time it's used. I'm messing this up really badly, which is kind of annoying. Like, unfortunately, like, I think most of my time I can actually save on my current splits is actually in the later levels. Like, you know, I'm just horrendously bad at hitting the more difficult tricks, mainly because I haven't, you know, that was a waste of time. I haven't, you know, practiced them as much. Do I run on console? This is on console. This is on Wii. That's what I'm running on. Same as what I runs it on, unless he's testing stuff now. Because yeah, he ran on emulator for a while. I think his hour 20 world record. I think up until he got sub an hour was all on emulator, and then his sub an hour run I'm pretty sure was on Wii. See, I run it on Wii. I used to run it on PS2, but PS2 is slower load zones, and I forgot to cut my split. Oops.
Firewood for... Well, there's no going back. Oh, how will I ever get back to the dwarves? I suppose if I follow the edge
no
of this
audio glitch
mountain,
for me.
I'll find my way
I
to
haven't
their
got
trail.
it in a while, actually. Nope, clip through the wall. Hyrule likes to go up to the left there. I'm not a huge fan. I don't see how it's any faster. Also makes me feel like I'm gonna miss the jumping up every time. What point?
Those stone giants are throwing boulders at me. I'd better hurry.
Dish. Round through the tree. So we got the tree skipped this time. I kind of messed that up last time. So you can see you skip the text and the rocks come down faster, which is ideal. Saves like 3-4 seconds. Also, kind of a tip for this section. This level has lightning that will sporadically come down and kill you. One of the places it likes to do that is when you're climbing up that vine. It seems to be one of the places it likes to do it. It only seems to do it when you get towards the top. So my tip for timing jumping off that vine there is keep climbing until the green gem that's hanging up kind of pops. So it's like you've triggered it. You haven't hit it yet, but it kind of pops up as if to pop off the vine and come towards you. As soon as it pops off, you can jump. And you'll always, either, if you do it slightly too early, you'll catch the edge of that cliff face. If you do it like correct, you'll land straight on top of it. Either timing means that the lightning won't randomly come and kill you while you're climbing that vine, or at least put you on half a heart, which then typically means anything else will kill you. And it also makes jumping down kind of a bigger pain. Whoops. Nearly missed that. Also, kind of fun trivia tip, this section of the level is actually longer, or used to be longer, before the game was released. For example, that first cog that I pick up when I double back on the left into that alcove, if you actually look past that rock, which you can do it on emulator, you can also do it by kind of sticking your head kind of right next to the wall in first person mode. You can see like there's a whole passage that leads off down there to another room that exists that you just can't get to. It's not in the game. They took it out. And what you actually notice for most of these sections is you go into these passageways and the game like instantly cuts you into like a load. This is a good example. If I go and look back up here, so what we should see, right, is that pedestal where you could save. But if I go into first person here, come out. If I can get my camera angle just right. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to. Can I get up a little bit more? Oh, it's different than if you. There you go. Can you see how there's like a mushroom just hanging just off to the left corner there? That shouldn't be there. Think about the section before we came into. So I walked towards there, so you could see like a mushroom there. That's not the same. That's like a completely different rock formation as well. Like it doesn't even look the same. That's because that's a room that you can't get into. It's actually impossible to get to that room, as far as I'm aware. Like, you would have to find some way of clipping outside of the area you're in, and then, like, coming back in through the wall. Is the only way I can think of getting in there. So unless we... What we kind of need is, like, to run it on emulator and then kind of put some hacks in so we can fly or something to get in there, I think. It's the only way I can think of being able to get in there. Because I can't think of a legitimate way, even using the hacks that we know. Yeah, but even with emulator, as far as I'm aware, like we don't know any of we don't know a way of activating like a no fly, like a no clip mode or a fly mode or anything like that. Yeah, he's using his Wii. He uses Wii as well. That's what I thought. I would actually like to have an actual GameCube. Not that it would make the gameplay any different, other than it would seem cooler. Ah, I'm okay. I should have jumped there probably, but thought I killed myself. Yeah, I messed that up. It's kind of an awkward one to hit. You have to jump right at the last second, otherwise you don't get the distance. I very rarely miss it now, but it does happen, which is why I save. Otherwise you just load so far back, it's very frustrating to rerun all of that section. There we go. So we got it second time. So we waste like 10 seconds then maybe. Although we save ourselves like... We waste like 10 seconds saving, 10 seconds reloading after we die, getting back to that spot and doing it. It's like 20 seconds waste total, but you save yourself like 5 minutes of not having to redo the entire level, which I think is ideal. Find use. I'm trying to make sure I pronounce your name right, dude. Find Uskin. Find Uskin. Find Uskin. If yeah, if you know Irule, you can drag him on here. That'd be kind of cool. I'd love to talk to him. Big fan. Big fan. Anyway. Gotta shoot. Thanks, Russ. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Shout me something on Skype or something, and we should get some recording done of some game footage sometime. That'd be pretty awesome. But latest, try not to break the curse count. Fuck! 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 There you go. Just for you. Okay, so we got that pretty quick as well. So it's relatively easy to miss that one. Again, that's just kind of manipulation of... Oh, I actually saved a little bit of time there. Nice. That's manipulation of the kind of the jump wall glitch and kind of a slide spot on the wall, which is cool. And then, as I said before, I mentioned in my last run, warping through an invisible wall by kind of teleporting to Thorin by talking to him. Which I think's like the only time we use that as like a proper manipulation, which I think's almost a shame because it's one of those really cool mechanics that kind of, it's not like super cool to look at, but it's good fun to do. So, oh crap. So, what I actually want to do here, I'm in a good mood, even though I kind of completely choked my last run. I'm actually going to do the slightly slower route here. Rather than doing the clip method, I'm going to use the slow falling method that I came up with. Which is about 15 seconds slower, 20 seconds slower, I think. But I think it's really cool, and I enjoy doing it because it's like the only, outside of getting to another beta area, which I will be making a YouTube video for in the next day or so, of this game. I watch the stream whenever I get a chance. He stopped by a few times to mine as well. But I can't read too long. No, right, I can't read the end of that. I think my Chrome is glitched and it won't let me. But usually when someone new turn up, I roll and D, we're already there. Oh, okay, cool. I've never actually seen D stream. I have seen iRules. So I'm gonna do the slower method here. I'm gonna save, just in case I mess it up, which is possible. Because I really like the slow method. I came up with this, so has a place in my heart, as one would say. But as you can see, I've clearly gone kind of slowly on this section already. So we're going to clip out of this one. As you see, everything unloads. Right, so we threw ourselves off that edge. We're going to clip back up, and as you can see, everything's unloaded. Ideally, we'd like to jump straight across here, but we can't. There's an invisible wall in the way. Just wanted to prove that's the case. So we can't jump across. What we can do, though, is we can use a technique called slow falling. So what I'm going to do, right, that's perfect. Put ourselves in first person, right on the last pixel of the item we're standing on, and I'm going to throw a rock. And as you can see, we're falling. So I now have to time this. Oh, I messed that up. That's too late, yeah. I forgot to exit early enough. So we'll do the same thing again. Oh, too late. Too far off the edge. Stepped off rather than... As you can see, this is the slower method because... Although I think it's a slower method, even if done perfect, it's not much slower. The biggest issue is it's actually really hard to line up. And you can kill yourself. If you do the slam attack to move yourself along too early, you will die. Because you will fall from too great a height. Which is a significant issue. No, I'm too far forward still. So I got it. There we go. Then I believe my timing is here. There it is. So as you can see, I dropped all the way down. I had to be careful because the wall actually reinstates itself there, and I don't want to clip into that, but you can kind of walk through the air. I kind of fell off, but that's fine. Kind of back this way, thank you. And then I always long jump back in, because otherwise you can sometimes clip into the wall. But that is the slower method. That's the method I originally came up with. I actually had that going for a few weeks before iRule found the clip method, the kind of the Wind Waker clipping method, which is very cool. It's faster as well, but I do like the so-fall method. Also, out of interest, also means you can get to the hidden beta level in a warm welcome, or hidden. It's not level. It's not as big as the. Oh, did I miss trigger? Am I the biggest idiot in the world? I am, apparently. Okay, cool. I was talking too much about my cool strat. Green. Oh, I see. Okay, so we've got the reverse triggers bug. I was wondering what was happening. Ah, missed it. Oh, did I get it? Right, so I've really screwed myself up now. So there's a bug where the triggers are actually pointing the wrong way. So for some reason, like, there's a binary switch here that can screw up, and although it says it's taking you the correct direction because it goes green, it's actually taking you the wrong direction. So I have to hit this, turn it red, which takes me the wrong way. Which takes me the right way, sorry. Oh, I should have left that one red, damn it. That one went green, so I'm going to go back to the beginning. Now I think I can hit them the right way around this time. So this is like a bug. Like, it's not supposed to do this, it's supposed to remember which way to take you. No. Oh my days. Okay. So this has gone really screwy now. So I've lost tons of time here. Okay. Okay, we got it. We got it. We're good. There you go. And didn't trigger the last one. I swung for it, but I didn't actually trigger it. Okay, so that's like a bug where the pointers, they basically forget which way they're facing. So although it says it's sending you one direction, it just forgets which way it's supposed to send you in defaults. Some of the time, and then some of them will remember which way, and then someone will remember the way they sent you last, but like flip you the other way anyway. Which is like it's a bug I've seen before. It's not a new one to me. It's rare though. Alright, so we lost tons of time in that section, but that's fine. I did the slow fall trick and then we got caught up in another issue, so that's fine. My big thing is I want to make a stab at PB here, if possible. I don't think we'll get sub-hour now because I kind of screwed up riddles. But as long as I don't screw up the rest of the run too much, I should get a decent run out of this. I should hopefully get sub my PB, which is really what you want to hope for. You want to just keep pushing towards summer best segments. That's pretty much the target you want to always aim for. And if you can push summer best segments down, that's awesome. No. So there is another way of getting out here where you kind of go to this corner and you do like a slide jump. But I've never been able to hit it. Ever. Ever. And I've tried a lot of times. Whatever it is, the angle and the timing for it escape me. So I prefer just doing a wall jump glitch there since it's typically a really easy wall jump glitch to hit. And that gets you out the level. Alright, let's climb up. Fortunately our camera angle wanted to... What is going on here? There we go. So in theory, the timing for jumping off there is as your head gets to the bottom of the vine. But as you can see, those vines can be a real problem. And funnily enough, in the PS2 version, they actually took out all reference to vines. None of those vines... no, correction, there is only one of those vines exists in the game, which is in Barrels Out of Bonds. That is the only time you see one of those vines, and it's against that kind of wall that we clip into. It's one of the walls we used to clip. Vines, it's a section we used to clip in Barrel Out of Bonds. That's the only vine in the PS2 version. In the PS2 version for that section, for example, the original the rope, the coil, I guess it's a vine, I don't know. Vines on the walls don't exist, hanging vines do. And the hanging vine is just longer in the PS2 version, so you can just grab it from the floor level and climb up. Which is, I think, faster, to be honest. As I said, there are a few bits in PS2 that are faster, but you are completely killed by loading times. That's the straight up the reason I wouldn't run it on PS2 anymore. And there we go, that's our load zone. It's awesome. So another random fun fact is when you're on these vines, you can switch weapons really quickly. And it causes a disco light on the save pedestal. For some reason. Also lags the entire crap out of your game, as you can hear by the fact if you hold that down for long enough, even when you let go and the picture stops flickering, the sound keeps playing because it's got confused. Also another section right there is where the vines can sometimes screw you. The best way I found of them avoiding you screwing that section is just to keep climbing up. As long as you're always climbing up, it seems to do the vines correctly in that section. Also, never jump forward too early while climbing this vine. The wall in front of you is actually invisible, but when you pass through of it, you die instantly. Don't know why. Don't know why it was designed like that, but it was. Okay, so let's see if we can get a good spider fight skip. Nope. So we missed the initial slam. This is Ace Prune's original kind of exit route. Ice Rule does it. iRule does it off to the left, but I actually prefer Ace Prune's. I find it easier to hit. As you can hear, the sound's kind of glitched as well. Not sure why that is. I think it's to do with the fact that we go and do that. We skip the mini boss fight. I think is why the sound glitches here. It's kind of expecting another trigger that we never walk through. So it never really starts playing again properly. And yeah, the simple way of doing this is just kind of coming like 2 Bilbos off from the left and just kind of jumping off the front, and you fall directly into the correct spot. The original kind of things I saw of people trying to do that, Ace Prune when he originally found it, it's kind of push yourself to the far left and you kind of push yourself off left and then pull yourself back right. It's not needed. You can just jump from a slightly offset position from the edge, just out in front of you and just fall straight down. You never need to worry about hitting anything when you press start either. So that's absolutely fine. Alright, our barrel out of bonds was actually really good last run. So let's see what we can do.
Elves.
This time round. Is she gonna troll us? No, I think we're okay. Okay, so sometimes you can bump up on the post to my right here. Sometimes you miss it, and so what you do is you just kind of aim towards the middle of it, and that gets you up. It's like the consistent spot. Don't try and re-aim for the post, because if you don't get it that first time, it just seems nearly impossible to get it afterwards. Don't know why. It just seems to be the case. So these items don't pick up very well.
I wonder what this is for.
Wonder what this is for. It's for setting your friend free, Bilbo.
At least it wasn't the necromancer.
I sense an unseen presence wandering our halls.
So yeah, this section played as intended, pretty much. So maybe some slight route optimization you can claim, but you know, as intended in terms of gameplay, is no kind of weird tricks, not until right at the end.
Show yourself.
Not that it's not possible. There's actually this bridge up here that you kind of see. Pretty much the sections right on the end of it. You can clip warp off any side, any end. It's possible to kind of trigger a clip warp from there. Very easy to clip into. Just unfortunately, there's just not really any particularly smart spots to kind of clip to. Also, doesn't help that when you come in the front door, because that's a cut screen to transition. Rather than the screen going blank and transitioning, or going to a loading and transitioning, because it actually walks you through the door, you're walking. So your safe box gets set, so you have to at least wait until you get round to the far end. It's possible to get into the higher entrance early. There's like a very specific alignment you can grab the vine early, but it's not useful, because even when you go inside, there is nowhere to clip, and you run into a metal fence that is blocking the way, which I can show you in a few minutes where that fence is, and you can't get around that fence, so it effectively becomes useless. Ideally, you'd want to get either to this spot, because there are clips, there are zones you can clip warp, and therefore you can kind of do things. It's also possible to clip walk in a very specific spot in this little room just down here, which becomes useful when you want to muck around just to the left here by that door. You can clip warp, but it's just not ideal when doing any tricks. It's cool to explore with, but there's no tricks I've seen that can actually use it. Apart from the early skip to grab the you can get the early third gem or the early last gem, whichever one you want to call it. But again, doesn't help you.
Have you heard? The White Council has taken flight to the Necromancer.
That vile sorcerer has plagued this land.
Vile sorcerer. Alright, so come up here. Trigger the next bit of the level. Oh, that's... Wow, I got really lucky that none of the elves were looking at me or were around. I could have easily have got caught there. That would have ended the level. That would have been less than ideal. So you end up, if you get the early vine, coming to this passage here, but you can see there's a metal grate across it. And there is nothing you can do about that. There is no way around it. And unfortunately that grate doesn't get released until your elven friend lets you through it now. And then once she lets you through it, it's unlocked. But again, that's kind of too late for it to be useful, unfortunately.
Is someone there?
That elf is annoying, a pain in the ass, does stuff. So up we go. So I'll show you this vine. If you are unsure about the vine I was talking about that you can grab early, it's this one at the top of the passage here.
So.
And yeah, you saw me grab that green vine, and that's the one you can grab early. It's a very specific alignment to let you grab it early, but it's more than possible once you kind of learn how to do it. See, as you can see, that's cellar door key 1, although we pick it up as our second key, and then I'm pretty sure this is what's called key 4. Even though in the gameplay, if played as intended, you always pick this one up first. You never pick this one up last. Yeah, so that's called key 4, but it's like, if gameplay is done as intended, you never pick that up as the 4th key. Part of me thinks that they wanted you to somehow pick that one up last, or someone just used the wrong object. It makes no sense to me that they would have it the other way around. This is again another level where it's possible in a bunch of places to see examples of where the level was originally going to be longer and then they shortened it for whatever reason. So if you go over to the far side of this outdoor area, there's a bunch of places where you can hop really high up onto the walls, and there are passages that have bars across them. Now, that just seems like an aesthetic thing, but there are a couple of spots where you can get out of bounds, as I mentioned, using certain clips and stuff. Not that they're useful for the speedrun. Off. And those show that those pipes actually go back a real distance. Like, as a game designer, you just wouldn't have ever put them back that far. Like, it adds no extra detail to the game. It doesn't make it any more realistic, since you would never see that far up them anyway from any angle. It seems to me like they were originally designed for a secondary use, and they're kind of ones I would wish I could get over, because part of me wonders if I got over to them and walked to the end, I wonder what kind of load zone trigger I would hit and what that would actually load in turn. I think that would be kind of cool to find out, but alas, as far as I know, there is no known no-clip / fly setup known for even emulator, which is probably what you'd have to do it in. And if it cannot be done in emulator, it unfortunately cannot be done, since there are no known cheats for this game. Or cheat codes or anything like that. Like, I've seen examples of
Show yourself. Is someone there?
Of Game Shark codes for this game, and I've attempted to use them. By all accounts, they just didn't work. So again, we set our save point because we want to re-warp to it. You just got to be careful that you don't get stuck in that cut screen talking to her, otherwise your save point was set. Also, this tube's interesting that we just came down. if you set it up correctly, you can actually travel in the reverse of gravity up the tube to some description. I really suck at getting this. There we go. So I always get it the bad way. I have to wait for the animation to play out, otherwise I fall to my death. It's either some combination of pulling backwards as you hit the vine or the ladder or whatever, or it's something to do with like attacking it, but in such a way that you don't trigger your slam attack. It's one of the only tricks I can't seem to kind of nail down in some way, shape or form, or at least know what the technique is. So as I said, this is key number 3. You'll never, or key number 2, sorry. How you're ever supposed to get to that as key number 2, I don't know. I don't think it's possible. My guess is, originally, and I'll show you something interesting about this level, there's an escape route to let you back out. So if you missed one of the keys outside and you haven't got it to let, what's-his-face here free, you can come over to the door on your left here, and it's possible to open this door. So I press this, you see the grate will open. I wonder at a time if it was possible to come here first. That grate never existed. Sorry. And because of that, because that grate never existed, you could actually pick that up as your second key, and they actually expected you to find it as your second key. And I wonder if they changed that later to make the game more linear and a little bit easier. Because for a game that is linear, some of the stuff is not necessarily intuitive, and in some circumstances I guess you could consider hard. And so we saved a little bit more time on that split. Kind of pulling it back towards our PB. We're still a little bit over time though. And again, our warm welcome split was pretty good. Our inside information split was really good. A lot of time to be saved on the gathering clouds though, a lot of time. So we'll see if we can save it this run, which would be nice. Alright, so trigger the first mission that we have to do, and now we're going to set up the warp. Obviously our split last time for Warm Welcome was so good because we actually got the save warp the first time, which was very much ideal. I'm going to nearly set up for the wrong warp. So you have to do it this side of the plank because normally the plank is in a raised position when you warp over here. So you have to put it there because if you do it correctly, damn, that was probably too long. We'll find out if that's the case there in a second. I have a tendency to miss this as well. Right, I think I might have messed the warp up if that's the case. No, I didn't. We're okay.
Don't lose him.
Fantastic. So that was raised. The reason you want to be the other side of it, why you don't just walk back over to this exit area where we kind of get out of bounds, is that if you do this correctly, you will beat him back to that area. So you would, if you didn't lower it, you would still have to wait. So we lower it because we don't want to wait. Okay. So onwards to my skip. Barrel. Make sure you're the other side of the invisible wall and reverse hop up it. See if we can get this first time. We completely whiffed. For whatever reason, we didn't even remotely catch it then. We actually seemed to hit the platform before we even managed to press the save. That's actually probably the most ideal out of all the death situations that results in failure, because as you notice there, we instantly loaded back, and there seems to be that when you die, the game, if possible, like, will pretty much do an instant warp back. It instant loads everything. Whereas if you... No, we missed it. If you tell the game to load, for example, from a save spot, it seems to reload, like, it unloads everything and reloads everything. Whereas, say, reloading from dying... I think I got it. Reloading from dying, seems to just make sure that the correct sprites are reset into the correct places. No, so I didn't get it that time. So we're actually going to skip straight out. So the reason I know I didn't get it, as you can see there in the save, the hearts were already gone. So it considers you dead when it loads you back. Rather than being alive when it's saved, it considers you dead when you saved. So when you load back, your camera position is locked above you, and the screen slowly fades to back over about 5 seconds. Although you can still control yourself, and you can still even bring the start menu up and see the start menu, you can't see anything else. So you can hear yourself wandering around, and by the sounds of things, it's impossible to kill yourself. I've spent a lot of time making sure I've like fallen off the platform in the next room, which is enough to take at least half a health off, and considering you have no health, you should die. Turns out you just don't, as far as I can figure out. Which speaks to kind of... It speaks to the fact that the death trigger is based off when you get to 0 health, rather than like when you lose your last heart to get to 0 health, rather than your health being at 0 or something. Just kind of... That was... Yeah, that was never going to work. That was like a really late slam for some reason. So this is unfortunately where you do lose a significant amount of time if you screw this up. This is one of the parts of the game where it is possible to lose a lot of time. Unfortunately, it just being such a tight frame. It's kind of why I was annoyed with my last run and dropping it when I did. My usual preferred spot is to get slightly to the right hand side of it. That seems to be the most consistent position to hit it in for me. I don't know if you actually gain any extra time, but it seems to be, like as you noticed on the last couple of drops, we never even had a frame opportunity to press the B button. I think there was never a frame where we could have pressed it, because we're landing basically on top of it. Whereas if you pass to one side of it, you have this slight opportunity as you're passing it, you like drop slightly below its top level, but that's long enough for it to activate the fact that you're capable of pressing it. Which means that like that's the frame that you're looking for basically. Possibly even gives you an extra frame, so we got it that time round, so that was good. Lucky enough we didn't waste too much time, because a lot of our deaths were based on the fact that we just never managed to press B at all. We just missed our frame, which is the best way of messing it up, because you get an instant reload and pretty much an instant retry. So we pick up the arrow, walk back up. Obviously, interestingly, because even though we spent so much time, we still save the time versus this guy, because, you know, obviously as every time we reload, he reloads back to whatever position we saved in. This game seems fairly accurate at loading sprites exactly as they are. So, for example, it's possible in some circumstances, so there he is.
What is that?
So we can walk past him if we're careful. We're in cover, so we don't need to worry about it. See, as I was saying, it's possible in some circumstances to actually unload an area and walk back to it while it's unloaded, and you can do that by, although you would usually fall infinitely out of the map, if you do it when you set your save point actually on a save pedestal, very commonly the save pedestals aren't ever unloaded. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was a technical reason or if it was just an artifact thing. They never bothered to unload save pedestals. My guess is it's actually a technical thing. Like there was something underpinning how the save pedestals work, which meant they shouldn't really be unloaded.
Bilbo.
So we're going through cutscene skips here. Ideal. So we got all of those. In theory, I could put myself closer to the guy that I want to jump down to. The reason I put myself exactly where I do is that when you go into these clips, although you don't need to jump, you do need to press the direction that you're pushing it into the wall to make sure you hold yourself there and the game doesn't counter. It can like self-correct itself without doing the kind of clip warp. So I use the opportunity that's kind of presented by the fact the wall's there. And because the wall's there, I can use that to stop myself drifting back. So we've lost a little bit of time on this segment. Obviously, we lost a little bit of time to the failed save warps, which is fine. Ooh, just about jumped at the end there before we moved. Okay, so we took one hit. That's fine. As I said, as I said last round, we can take one hit. I kind of expect us to take one hit. And I do prefer going up onto that little ramp, although I don't think it's strictly necessary. Like, the consistency it gives is just really nice for getting up there. Like, so often I find myself just kind of not being able to get the correct height and kind of clipping into that box a little bit. It's very frustrating. So jump across here. Oof, nearly missed it. Also another tip for this, if you move your camera, I mentioned this in a later level as well, but moving your camera seems to sometimes like line build Bo up better, and in that case he seems to slip round the he seems to slip round the edge of those planks, I guess, in the wall much easier if he is. I didn't get it that time. I did get it this time though. Much easier if he's flat to them for whatever reason. Although if you're stood kind of 90 degrees to the thing you're jumping along, he doesn't seem to hit it quite so well. I don't know what that reason is, but it does seem to be the case. So we lost a little bit of time in that split, about 2 minutes. I'm hoping we can claw some time back somewhere. It's not looking good. Oh, we should be able to. I'm really hoping I get a good puzzle skip, which would kind of resolve me of my sins somewhat, I think. For missing a few other things on a few other occasions. We won't talk about that too much though. Okay, well, so that's Smog. So this level, oh, that was not ideal.
I'd better not walk on those gold coins. Too much noise and old Smaug will roast me.
So if Smog is that low, I do risk using like an attack jump there. It just is a little bit faster to traverse. I'm actually going to use my health potion here. It's kind of unusual. There's no real health seals anywhere in this level as far as I remember. I wouldn't like the occasion to... Oh, maybe I should do that. I don't know. I never really use the potions. Like, I know Hyrule likes to have the potions going into that last fight in the last level, but honestly, when you go down there, you can pick a potion up that like wastes like 0.2 of it. Ah! So I forgot to be invisible. So I was talking about being invisible. That's fine. So, as we said, not ideal. So it's going to reset the level. So we lost about 1.5 minutes there. So yeah, Hyrule likes to go in having lots of potions, but into that last fight, or at least one. But you can pick one up for free at that end bit of the level anyway, because you like walk right next to it, going to like hit the warp point. This frustrates me somewhat as well. Also, because I'm kind of at some point I need to test if you can actually hit Smarg and wake him there, because it kind of feels like you can, but every time I feel like I'm super close, I never seem to wake him. Oh, so he wakes up here a little bit. If you want to play around with him, it's quite good fun at keeping him at like 75%, and he actually kind of stands up and looks around, even though he's at 75%. And he's looking around, he just kind of stood in front of him, and he doesn't do anything as long as the sound meter never hits 100, which I think's entertaining. Also weird continuality thing there, like, he basically, if you watch the animations, he sits up and wakes up 3 times there in very quick succession. Which is like, I just don't know if they ever bothered to even watch that back to themselves and realize that was kind of stupid. Yeah, you kind of stand on him. Freaking air there, or at least it appears. If that's the case.
I smell you, thief.
So I see a lot of runners this game kind of waiting for basically full bar to do this section. I never bother. As long as I can see a tint of green in it, I'm fine, because as soon as I get here, I'm safe. Like, as soon as you get up to the height needed to jump to that second chain there, you're entirely safe. And I think waiting any longer around the back of the thing for like full bar is just a waste. So another tip with this fire as well, if any of that fire is still on the screen, it can get you. So you can't leave until all of that animation is gone, and at which point you can continue along your way. So I'm actually attempting to 2-cycle here. I may have messed it up. Ooh, I'm not sure. I think I dodged it. We'll see if it loads me in dead here. The infinite load time. No, we're okay. So we managed to avoid dying there, which is nice. So a little bit of a tip for this section as well. Never slam off the top. For some reason, slamming stops whatever this random glitch is that doesn't let you die from working. If you slam, it will kill you. Doesn't matter if you slam late or slam early, whatever it is, it seems to then detect that you've fallen from a great height. You can long jump, and I typically do just to make sure I'm away from the wall. Although again, I don't think super needed. Also, another thing with these blocks is that if you are next to a block with a hole, the water will never drown you. I.e., if there is a block that is not in a hole, and you're stood right next to them, the water will never drown you. So this is a safe height right here. So all you have to do is outpace the water so that it never... And as long as you do that, you do this section as optimal as possible. Since we know of... We have no way of skipping the door section. We have no way of convincing the dwarves that something there that isn't there. We have no way of triggering it without actually lifting the door up. We have no way of exiting without the door coming up, even if we can get round there, because it insists the door has to be in place. Which is very frustrating to see. But it's okay. So we've outpaced the water by a long way. It's not a hard section. The most annoying, the hardest bit is actually getting these things to fit in the hole, since they don't match the square precisely. None of them, I think, do. So you just kind of have to kind of put it roughly where you think the center is, and then just kind of squiggle it around a little bit. The more you practice with it, the closer you seem to get it first time, but it's still not exactly an exact science. And I'm just gonna looking around. Spend the time here to line up my jumps to the correct vines. So as I explained, they control you. We can chill out here. It's a good opportunity to have a drink, I think. look at our time. So we're going to be about the same. Hey, Alan, nice to see you. It's going okay. The first run I did was really, really, really good. And then I choked the last level, unfortunately, because for some reason I got up to 22 viewers. Woo! A group of people turned up, and I choked. So sad. So making a second stab. I managed to get some of my segments down by quite a lot. I got a few gold segments last run. This run isn't going fantastic. I've kind of made some elementary mistakes, but I'm kind of explaining stuff as I go along as well, which is cool. So this section's going to be slow as well because we kind of screwed up. We lost ourselves like a minute and a half at the beginning. Ideally, I wanted to beat my at least my PB. SK no views now. Ah, so sad. There's 4 of you. Yourself and 3 others of some description. So there are some viewers, Alan. Be nice to me. But yeah, it's going okay. I'm kind of chilling out. I'm kind of explaining stuff more than I am kind of super focusing. I did a few ineffective strats as well. Just for fun, because there are a few strats that aren't as fast, but I like them, so did a few of those for the viewers, for funsies. Alright, so that's this level complete. Which is cool. So we lost about a minute there, and I think we lost about a minute and a half at the beginning, so maybe 30 seconds faster if I hadn't screwed up. Puppy. I am not just someone! 1.2 people. I'll give you 1.15. How about we bart it to that much, Puppy? How does that sound? Oh, I got a sword icon. Okay, I can be nice. Yeah, Kryden's here. Alan, you've always had a sword icon, sir. Because my stream is so big that I need mods. True story. So I obviously screwed this level up pretty hard, even in my good run. So we got up first time. So I thought the angle looked good there, but oof. So we jumped to his other shoulder. My personal opinion is the shoulder is actually harder to get up of. So we had to made it back across to the other one, which I think is the most ideal situation. For whatever reason, whatever that angle is, because obviously it's not designed to be jumped on. The right hand shoulder, as we look at it, is actually the best. So I'm actually going to get puzzle skip first time unless I screw this up, and I'm going to either early jump off the chain. So that was actually a really good puzzle skip. We pretty much got that first time. It was a little bit slow getting off the shoulders. That was really, really, really strong. So this should be a really strong split as long as I don't screw up. There are a few spots I can screw up in the next room, so I am going to save, which, yeah, does waste like 15 seconds, but I think it's going to be worth it overall, because the puzzle skip, as you saw before, can be a real pain. Nothing under 1.75. Alright, I'll give you 1.75 then, Puppy. How does that sound? Sounds like a good compromise to me. Actually, no, I'm feeling nice. You can have 1.8. Alright, so we're saved up. Gotta go through the next tunnel into the next room. To get behind the Arkenstone chamber. It's only when everyone's here. I think everyone was here all along. I think they're being quiet in chat, which was cool. I don't mind. There was Frank Z spam earlier, which made me entertained. Ah! I don't know how I didn't die there. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, we're saved. Why the fuck am I suddenly pink? Twitch, please. You're still purple to me. Oh my god, a girl color. Well, Jayla's not a girl, Alan. There are no girls on the internet. Can confirm, right, Jayla? Can you? Ah, no, I screwed that up. Right, so this was one of the reasons I made sure I made that save. So you can, there is like an angle basically you have to jump to get that, to get back up that slope. And if you miss it, what happens there is you slide off, and you just have to commit suicide. As I explained earlier, actually committing suicide there loads you back faster than just like hitting start and pressing load. So that's why I made sure I suicided there rather than anything else. So I'm glad I saved. So we're lined up. Let's go. Unfortunately, I haven't found a super consistent method of doing this. Like, it's pretty consistent, but like occasionally, like if you don't get the jump height specifically, like you don't want to jump straight across. You want to aim for basically in between the two of them. There you go. Because you want to slide off one, but get just enough height that you then can actually bounce again. If you're too close to the lip, which is basically where you always end up if you aim for it directly, you slide off, which is what you saw happen the first time around. I kind of screwed this jump up last time, which camera result, I did it again. So I have to climb back up, and you have to look in the middle, and then slightly offset yourself, and go. If you do it directly in the middle, you will always die, because you will never grab the ledge. Don't know exactly why, it's just the case of this thing. Last time I turned myself around, but you don't actually need to, as long as you clip here, it's fine. He says, and then puts himself. That shouldn't have worked. Okay, well I learned something new, is that I do need to have the right angle. I gold splitted though. I gold splitted and put ourselves back in green. So that was pretty awesome. I learned a few new things there. It does turn out I have to turn around, otherwise I don't get the visual angle I'm after. But I still managed to gold split and do it in reverse somehow. I'm not quite entirely sure how I did it, but our camera was inside the room we wanted to get into. It was basically what happened there. But it worked out for us.
Arming advances on
I
the
wanted to
lake
have a
mountain.
drink, but the run is more important. So I have 14 minutes to finish this to beat PB. This level should take about 4, I think. So we could sub PB here. We could. We'll see what happens. As you can see, I actually saved like over 3.5 minutes. Actually more. I actually saved nearly 5 minutes on my Gathering Cloud split, even with the one death, just because I got the puzzle skip first time, pretty much. That's how much like a save, like I had screwed up that level previously. So that feels pretty good. That feels nice to have achieved that one pretty well. I need my sword out. Clip in here, press start.
Corwin! I have to help him!
I'm not sure if that was fast enough. We're about to find out though. I hope it was. Like this one, I think I want to. I don't know. I don't know what causes the warp. We got it, so it's okay. At some point, I would love iRule to come onto my stream and explain to me exactly how I clip that warp. 360 no scope hacks, true story, man. Fucking warp out of bound, 360 no scope, back through a wall to fucking headshot that motherfucker with your pistol. Can confirm. That's pretty much what we did on that one. Let's not screw this section up. I screwed this level up so much in my last run. It was like really depressing how much I fucked it up. So let's go over here. Go up here. Shush, quiet. So again, go for the fast method, although I don't know the alignment. No, missed it. So let's go for the slow method. And up the ladder. Move through the top. And hit it off. Oh my days, I nearly died. If I had died there, I think I would have cried. On stream. It's alright, only real men cry. Oh god. That was like the sketchiest jump in the world as well. Oh. Oh, man. Heart went like a billion knots then. Holy shit. We screwed this section up as well, so let's not do that. And use the wall to run against. There are actually quite a few good game examples where running against the wall will give you a speed boost, so it's not super unusual actually. I think like one of the original Zelda games does it. So here's your 360 no scope though, Hallen. We actually have a 360 no scope in this game, so we go 3, no. 3, no. 360. Oh, missed the no scope. 360. No scope. Slowest 360 no scope in the world, but we got there. And it does look like we're gonna break PB here, which is really cool. Some personal bests went right down, and we're gonna smash PB here, so I'm really happy about that. Alright, so walk around the edge here to make sure we avoid the trigger that would warp us back out of our out of bounds, which we're currently in, which we don't want. Jump, jump, jump. Turn down for what? Turn down for what? And time. Oh! Baby gold split. Baby gold split, baby gold split, baby gold split, gold split. Wop 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 wop. Nailed it. Ah. Ah, fucking PB 106. That's awesome. I'm really happy with that. Got some of bests down to sub 55 as well, which is really cool. Yeah, that was, apart from screwing up right at the beginning of the run, that actually went really, really well. It's nice to have a finally good gathering the cloud split, and clearly an improvement on the cloud burst split as well, by a significant amount as well. So all in all, actually a really good run to end on.